With all that wind, you'd think it would disrupt your sleep, wouldn't you? If you,
You would.
Yeah,
I'm sure it has done for many over the past few nights.
I think it has. You know, we're doing a thing on sleep now. Did you do the test that we were all assigned as homework yesterday about how well we sleep?
I did,
and
indeed, yes.
we will explain about this in a moment. I know Ben got 3.8 out of 10. Mike got 1.3 out of 10. What did you get?
That's terrible. I got 2.5. Graded very poor.
So they graded your quality of sleep as very poor?
Very poor. I'm blaming 21 years of shift work, Naga.
I'll tell you what, it shows, Matt.
So Nana?
Yeah, exactly.
Naga.
That's exactly it. That's how it shows.
He's gone right back to his childhood. That's the
Lack of
effect.
sleep.
That's the effect
I'll
of
tell you
lack
what,
of
that
sleep
is not
and
our relationship at all. I can guarantee you that. Thanks very much, Matt.
Yeah, insomnia, we're talking about problems with sleeping. It is one of the most common problems it's got into NICE, and if you're suffering, the question is, what can you do to help yourself?
Frustrating. Did you do the test?
Didn't do the test. I'm sorry, I started doing the test.
And then you fell asleep.
And then I just did something else instead.
Joining us now is author and GP, Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, and recovering insomniac, Christopher Egginton. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
You know, Christopher, I'm going to start with you because sometimes people say, oh, I had a real bad night's sleep, I've got insomnia. And that's so far from the truth of real insomnia, isn't it? Tell us your experience.
That's right. I remember going through initial sleeping problems, you know, rough sleep, again, shift work started with me. Couldn't adjust to a normal day off, you know, waking up at a normal time. And I felt like it was socially unacceptable to talk about. I've had a poor sleep. It was almost like, oh, I've got a cold, you know,
you were whinging too much or something?
Yeah, it was a bit of a whinge and, you know, kind of bottled it up a bit.
But it has physical as well as emotional effects, doesn't it?
Oh, without a doubt. I think to begin with me, it was the worry. You get into this vicious cycle with it. If you don't sleep, have a poor day, but then it's this cycle of, oh, I'm worrying about the sleep at night, you're lying in bed. And I think the funny thing about insomnia is the more you try to sleep, the harder you try, the more you will that sleep to come, the further away it goes.
Well, you describe it. I mean, that's very vivid description. At its worst, I mean, what sort of condition are you left in?
It becomes a huge worry, anxiety that lives with you. So you've got the night, and in the night time you have this kind of commentary that runs with you through the day, don't you? You know, we all have this voice, don't we? And at night it's kind of amplified, and these worries and catastrophic ways of thinking. And then it leaks into the day, and it's worry in the day, and it's starting to, you know, tired at work, can't focus, then worrying about the night time, and then you're back in bed again, and it's that circle.
Rangan, I mean, I'm sure you probably talk to people quite a bit about this, don't you? Although it's interesting you say about maybe people not wanting to say it. Like, it's a little bit of a joke, can't sleep very well, but it's really debilitating, isn't it?
I think you're right, Charlie. It's something probably most days as a GP I have to talk to people about because it's something that's epidemic now. And we know from scientists from Oxford that we're probably sleeping maybe 1 to 2 hours less than we were about 60 years ago as a society. And, you know, that's got short-term consequences in terms of things like memory, our ability to make decisions, our relationships with those people around us. But you know, in the long term, sleep deprivation is associated with pretty much every single chronic disease we've got, including things like type 2 diabetes and Alzheimer's. So it's something that I think we have to take seriously. I think you've got a great story in terms of how you have turned it all around. And I think that's really, I think that's encouraging for people.
What did you do?
Well, I was very lucky, and so 2 years ago it really became a problem, and I went to my GP, and I was lucky then to be referred to this Sleepio course. It was trialling at the time. Said, "Do you want to try this?" You know, I didn't want to take medication. I'd tried it in the past. I tried herbal remedies, sleeping tablets.
What do they do in this course?
The course, it changes your perception to sleep. It gives you the practical tips. You know, things that we know about, but you may not stick to. Things like switch your phone off, you know, don't have a cup of coffee in the evening.
Blackout curtains, etc., light, noise pollution. And this is the test that we were all asked to do, which the NHS is rolling out. Is that correct, Rangan?
Yeah, it's not in every area,
Right.
unfortunately, what you had access to. I think that some in London and the southeast, I think at the moment it's not available everywhere. But I think that the encouraging thing is that for the vast majority of people who are struggling with their sleep, whether it's full-on insomnia or whether it's just, you know, they can't sleep as well as they want to, there are things that we can all do in our lifestyle that really does make a difference. Very few people, in my experience, need actual proper therapy for things like, you know, you do have primary sleep disorders like obstructive sleep apnea, which require some treatment, but most of us are doing something in our lifestyle that we don't realise is affecting our ability to sleep at
So
night.
if you're concerned, what should you be doing? Can we do this test? Can everyone do this test at the moment? The online test that we all do.
I think is that the one you did through Sleepio?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can go on the Sleepio website and
Right,
have a look,
you
and
do
there are
that.
some resources there for you.
But
for
it's
sure.
kind of worth keeping on top of whether you are getting good sleep or not, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to reiterate some of those basic things, you said we all know about caffeine. We know caffeine's a sleep disruptor, but we don't know that actually a large cup of coffee at midday, so 12 o'clock, a quarter of that is still going to be in your bloodstream at midnight. So many people think they're okay with that 4 p.m. cup of coffee, but they're not. And for a week, if they try it in the morning, it makes a difference. So there's so many little tips like that people can use for sure.
Did you sleep all right last night?
Very well.
Good. Good. Well, getting up this time of day and being here or whatever, that might, prompt things, but that's great. I'm pleased to hear it's a success story. Lovely to see you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.